Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming into another video. Alright, so today is the moment of truth in regards to, we're going to see exactly how much time I'm allowed to talk, because of what I was telling you yesterday about how I recorded, I got rid of some space. That's really what it comes down to. I got some downloaded art back from my cloud, because I want it all in one place. So today, I'm going to have the ability to make a full video on the way forward and on the way back, as I always do in my little walk, going to Hollywood and all of that. And I'm going to see exactly how much space I have, and we're just going to let it run to the ground. And of course, the upload time is expected to be pretty much all night from here on out. I don't know when that's going to change, if they ever intend to undo that for me. I've reported at least 8 or 9 times with Google and YouTube, and they have not responded to me on any of those attempts. So I just assume they are trying to silence me, you know. Close to 500 subscribers. Of course, you can monetize at that time, and given the fact that I talk about so much controversial stuff, I do believe, and I could be very wrong, but I do believe that they want to suppress me quite a bit. I'm one of the last people they want to blow up. They don't want that, because I really don't give a shit. Excuse my language. In regards to talking about certain things, truth to power, I jump out the window sometimes. Sometimes I don't say too much that would otherwise put me in a position to never be in the favor of those who pay people a lot of money to entertain people. I'm just not going to be favorable to them in a lot of situations. And I got that naturally, man. I got that, just who I am. And the funny thing is that I know better. My mom was in the entertainment business. My mom worked in radio. My mom worked in TV. My mom won an Emmy as a person who assisted with TV shows and stuff like that. A specific TV show called Sarah's Kitchen, I believe it was, back in like the 70s. My mom was the human being who got the stars booked for the show. She's the one who talked to everybody. Like, so I know better than to step on certain types of toes in this city, but I don't give a shit. I don't love money. I don't love fame. I don't like none of that stuff that much. I just love what it is I do, and I have a passion for speaking the truth. And so for me, it's like, I think a lot of those people who tend to have controlled the minds of a lot of people, I think they're in the wrong side of history for a lot of stuff that's going on today. I genuinely believe that a lot of those people are so far compromised in agendas that are not good for the world, but only good for some, that it's impossible to get what a person, for me, to get to my highest peak in their world. I really believe that. The more I learn about what's going on in Gaza and how that trickles down to everything else and who's behind it, I just realized, as long as those people are running the world, people like me will never be okay as far as being able to say what we want to say and then reach our highest point in whatever our greatest profession or whatever we can do. You know what I mean? It's not built for someone like myself to succeed and still tell the truth. And so that's what I would hope to inspire change within all of us in regards to, okay, well, this is my life, that's down the toilet, but with what it is that I can do, can I inspire us to try to change that for the next generation, so that the next me that comes around doesn't have to compromise themselves so much, or that the next you that comes around doesn't have to be so far deep in their pocket with their agenda, whatever that agenda may be, whether it's great or not, that you are not able to tell the truth about what it is that you see and still be able to have opportunities to speak to everyone, to be known by everyone for what it is that you're great at, or to be famous, or whatever the word would be. Being famous should not mean being silent to genocide. Being an athlete should not mean being silent to what's going on in the Congo. It should not have to come with one another. If I'm excellent at what I do, I should be able to align with what it is I feel, so long as it's not wrong, for which everything's backwards right now. You should be shunned for the stuff that they're allowing. That genocide and the Israeli exhaustion, when you know damn well those people are just simply trying to do evil because they believe it's right in their religion, and that they're owed something in regards to land, even though half of them are not even native to the land that they say they're from. They're just indoctrined in it. And the fact that it's okay for them to do what it is they're doing, but it's not okay for me to oppose it when they're killing children. There should never be another generation where someone should need to be silent in the presence of such atrocities in order to be able to get what it is they're supposed to have in this world. Someone has to die on that sword. Some generation has to say, no. No, I understand you control everything. I understand you could probably press a button and squash my whole country if you really wanted to with one of your bombs that you control. I understand that. And I also understand that I'm gonna die any damn way. So are the rest of us. But what we don't want to do is leave this world worse than we found it. And in leaving it to people who are this far compromised and this powerful in the sense that they can tell you to ignore the suffering of children so that you can keep your job. Yeah, they need to not be in power anymore. They need to be challenged in such a way that takes that power back from them and gives it back to the people who want to speak up for what is right. And so that's what I'm about. I understand I'm probably not going to be a billionaire. I may not even be able to afford to have a family with some of the things that I've talked about. I may not ever get a job again anywhere. And they get a whiff of what I'm really about. But at the end of the day, I just trust God. I trust my instincts. I trust the upbringing that my mother gave me in our household, which is stand up for what you believe in. I trust those who did. Some of them made it. Some of them died. Some of them were, shunned. Some of them were called terrorists. But they inspired me in such a way to where I look around and I don't blame everybody for my problems, but I do blame the environment for which all this is possible, for why I didn't reach for certain things. And maybe that's my fault too. But just the same, I don't want to be compromised. I don't want to have to tell people, I don't give a damn about your pain because I'm trying to get my wealth. That's what a lot of you are doing. Sign contracts with people that literally fund genocide. They want people to suffer. But they don't consider those people people. They consider those people evil, although the only evil in the room is the evil that they're doing to those people. By way of Israeli logic, I should be able to do horrible things to any white person I see. Because so long ago, before I was born, horrible things were done to my people by those people. That's the logic they're engaging in when they engage in this nonsense. They say because thousands and thousands of years ago, they had the land, they're going back to the people who inhabit the land now and making them pay for what their forefathers did and taking the land from them. That's what they're arguing. Now, I can argue, based on what I've read and what I've learned, that those are flat out lies any damn way. That these people are not, in fact, who they say they are, and thus are not due to the land that they say they don't need, or that they are owed. But that's neither here nor there when it comes to whether or not they should be allowed to do this in the world. Even if this land was stolen from them 1,500 or 15,000 or however long it was ago, they should not be able to then turn to the descendants of the people who stole the land and destroy all of their children in some random year in the future. That should not be done. The land should not have been stolen in the first place, which is what we're arguing now that they're doing to these people. But in the event that there was the case, right and wrong tells me that this generation of Israeli people have no right to steal that land back in a vengeance of their great ancestors. I'm sorry, no, friend, no. Someone needs to look these people in the eye with all their power and all their compromise with, and all the things that they control and all the people they have in their back pocket believing in the bullcrap they do, and say no. That is wrong. It's wrong when you do it. It's wrong when I do it. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's wrong. I would not say that Native American people should be coming back slaughtering all of us because the land was stolen from them. I'm not saying I need to be going around slaughtering a bunch of white people because people enslaved my ancestors. None of that is okay, friend. Somebody needs to say this. Somebody needs to tell you that that is not okay. Mexican folks shouldn't be coming around killing everybody they see because this land was stolen from them that I walk on right now, or rather purchased for some compromised individuals for like $3. Stolen. Come on, man. Somebody got to look these people in the eye and say, just because you have power doesn't mean you get to distort what's right and wrong. That's wrong. Even when you explain it, though we don't believe your explanation is what it really is, we think it's something much more sinister. But even that of your explanation is wrong. And if I got to die on my sword or not reach my highest peak with all of whatever it is I can do in this life because the people who are doing this wrong are in control of my ceiling, then so be it. I don't need that damn ceiling. What I need is to leave something behind better than what it is that I found it. It ain't about being wealthy. That's what they compromised. That's what it is that they're supposed to have in place to give to me, to keep it so that they can continue to do wrong. While they want to be the generals of the world and the police of the world telling everybody else what right and wrong is, but don't want to hold themselves to that same standard. But then if I were to be such a hypocrite as to do that myself, now suddenly I'm the worst person in the world. How does that work? It does not work. But because they feel themselves to be a higher being, for which much is given and much is expected, but they don't hold themselves to such a higher standard as to be higher beings and uphold a level of parity and responsibility for what it is that they will do versus what it is they will allow others to do. Because they don't want to do that, they're bad leaders. You see what I'm saying? So every part of this is wrong. Their explanation for it is wrong. What the truth is behind what they're really doing is wrong. And then the fact that they want to control everything and keep people who are speaking about it from being able to reach their highest peak or even be able to speak is wrong. And I'm supposed to be afraid of not getting what I need as to say, no, I'm not going to tell the truth about their wrongdoings, as they hold me accountable for any wrongdoing I may engage in, which is further wrong. I'm supposed to look around the corner and see somebody selling drugs, say, yo, they're doing wrong. But then I look at these guys committing genocide and keeping people silent about it. I'm supposed to say they're right? They're fine because it's them, right? Because it's them doing it. Nah, fam. That's not how they want me to engage in, so they can't expect for me to have that logic when it's applied to them. And they certainly can't bribe me with riches and beauty and all different types of things, or scare me with the ability to take from me what it is I have, or murder me, or whatever the hell they want to do. None of that's going to keep what they're doing from being any more compromised and any more imbalanced. Israel is wrong for that. They cannot kill 30,000 kids plus people, however it is, because their great grandparents happen to have land stolen from them, allegedly, for which they have no proof, for which they share no proof. And they want to put on the Jewish hat and say they're Jewish. No, you're not Jewish. No. Jewish people ain't doing that. You're doing that. And you're pretending to be Jewish while doing it. But no, man, I ain't afraid to tell the truth because somebody needs to. Nobody else wants to. Everybody else is too afraid of losing their riches. Everybody's too afraid to save these children, man. I ain't. Because at this moment, they're killing these people right now. It's not like this is yesterday. It ain't like, no, this is happening right now. Nah, Israel, you don't get to do that just because you've rigged the world and now control everything, and a bunch of people who are alive today are too compromised and too greedy, too sinful and too guilty to say anything about it. I'm not. I don't love your wealth. I would love to have those things, but I don't love those things more than I love the people, the Palestinian people. There's value in humans. For all you know, you're killing my doctor. You're killing my child's best friend. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what the future holds for a single individual. For all I know, you just killed my wife. Who knows? The point is I'm not as too blind as to say that there's more value in things than there is in individuals in the process of people being able to share what it is that they bring to the world with the world. You're knocking people off because you think they're your enemy. What about me? They're not my enemy. Why do I get to be robbed of their lives? Because you have a problem with what it is that they did. Think about that. You're the only thing that matters, Zionist? Just because they're your enemies, they need to be wiped from the world. They're my friends. What about me? I'm not your enemy. So if I come to the defense, I become your enemy because you want to annihilate them. Where does this begin? Where does this end? You say one innocent person can die so that you can kill one Hamas. Where does this begin? Where does this end? Who is the innocent person that you don't mind killing? Is your doctor? Your lawyer? Is your child? How many of y'all willing to sacrifice your innocent child for this process? Obviously, many of you keep sending them soldiers over there, giving them no choice but to fight for this war, indoctrinating them with warped mindsets of thinking it's okay to kill people, slaughter them, and make TikToks about it and pose, all different types of things that would ultimately make fun of the circumstances that they're suffering through. You think it's okay to do that, right? But if I do it, it's wrong, right? By that same logic, if I engage in the behavior of Israel, I'm a terrorist. And rightfully so, because I would expect to be held to the same standard that I would anybody else. But not them, no. And yet they're supposed to be in charge of all of us? They're the ones who are supposed to run the world, but they don't hold themselves to the same standards they would anyone else? They don't believe in following the rules that they set for all of us to follow? And I'm supposed to be okay with this because of wealth, right? I'm supposed to be fine with this because it's them doing it and they're chosen by God. Well, then the idea of God needs to be thrown away. If those are the people chosen by God and this is what they're chose to do, then what do I need God for? He's the devil. He's terrorizing children at night. He didn't chose these people to not only compromise me from being able to say this is wrong, but then allow them to make fun of it and do it without anybody else holding them accountable. What do I need God for? I don't need no damn enemy. You see what I'm saying? That's not God that chose that. There never was. That was the lie they chose to believe so that they could sleep at night doing whatever it is that they chose to do. And the things that they're choosing to do is murdering thousands of children. Doing all God knows what else to those people for no damn reason other than the fact that they just chose to. That's it. It ain't about land, because they already control the land. This ain't about hostages, because Hamas doesn't have the hostages. They do. You look at it logically. You killed 30,000 of my children, and I stole some of your hostages, and those hostages are still alive 6 months later? If I'm who you say I am, those hostages are already dead. Am I not supposed to see that logic? If all of the behavior that you are engaging is justified in the sense that you get to kill 3 innocent people for every Hamas or whatever the number would be, why are your hostages still alive? If Hamas is bad enough to where it's that necessary, why are any of these people still around? But see, that's a logic you can't bring to them, because then they have to try to justify to themselves why they believe such propaganda. There's no reason to believe it because it doesn't hold up even when you put the slightest amount of logic to it. If these are your greatest threats, why can't they feed themselves? If not for you stopping them from doing so. If this is a war and not a genocide, why are you warring with the poorest people? They don't have anything. So how are they at war with you? How are they a threat to you? If you control their power, you control their water, and you have the ability to pick and choose from within their innocent people, the ability to annihilate 4 or 5 innocent of them for every one of the terrorists that you claim are terrorists. If any of that is the case, why are you choosing them to label as your greatest threats when they can't harm you? How can you convince me that they can harm you when they can't even feed themselves anymore? Any logical person could put just the slightest amount of logic to the situation and it all burns down. You have to either hate people illogically in order to allow yourself to believe this, or you have to be not very bright. That's all it is. I'd rather people just say, yo, I want them to control everything because I like how it is. So if this is what it takes for them to control everything, then let's let it be. Say that. Don't tell me you're buying the propaganda, because propaganda doesn't come together if you just put two ties of it together. It doesn't match. These are their worst enemies, but they don't have any money? They're your biggest threat? And you're killing all their kids? They got your hostages, but they're the worst terrorists in the world. Your hostages are still alive 6 months later. How are they still alive, friend? How are they still alive? If these people are as bad as you say they are, those hostages died. Stop lying. If you want to be evil and tell the world that we don't have a choice, stop feeding us bullcrap that is easy for us to decipher as bullcrap right away. Just say we're Zionists, we control the world, you can't do nothing about it, stand on something, lose everything you have messing with us. That's what I want to hear. That's how I want my dominating figure to behave, with some balls. Not worried about what I think about what they do when I can't stop them from doing it any damn way. That's why I don't respect them, because it's not about whether or not they're good or evil. It's about whether they would sell us bullcrap when it's unnecessary to do so. You want to kill them? People say you're going to kill them. You got all the power in the world. Why are you acting sheepish? You want to murder kids in the nighttime? Nobody can stop you. Just do it. Just say you want to do that. Stop telling us that it's about hostages. Stop telling us about some terrorist group named Hamas. Hamas don't have the money to feed their children. How the hell they got the money to kill you? How they got the bombs to kill you? They can't even feed themselves. They can't even save themselves from the circumstances that you're throwing at them. And they're your biggest threat? They got so many of your hostages? How the hell are they keeping those hostages alive? You took all the food, took all the water, you made the entire place inhabitable. How are those hostages surviving? You bombed every damn thing. Everything they would even be hiding in. You bombed it. How are the hostages alive? All it takes is a little bit of logic. It don't even take that much. I don't have to sit here and think about this for too long. It doesn't make any sense. If you want to believe this stuff, there's something wrong with you. That's it, man. Just say you were okay with Palestinian children dying. You're okay with Zionists doing it. You like the way the world is run. And you're fine with how things are. Just say that. I respect that. I mean, I respect what you do, but your stance at being unapologetic in how you do it shows me the strength that you want to display. Not you toying with all of our logic as if we're too stupid to see that your stuff doesn't come together. Those with the most power act the most cowardice. Doesn't make any sense. And yet it does. Because when you put a spiritual aspect to it, of course the devil's going to act sheepish. Of course the devil's going to act like he doesn't understand why he's being seen as the devil, as he proceeds to want all of the credit for being the devil, but not to be held accountable for being the devil. This is who he is. It's what he does. Confusion all day long. Reflecting poorly upon himself all day long. Never being any more the wise of it. This is what Israel is. This is what US is. This is what UK is. This is what Europe is. This is what they are. White supremacy acts the same way everywhere it goes. It wants to have control. It wants to be seen as powerful, but it also wants to be seen as diplomatic, and it also wants to be seen as humanitarian. Because it can't stand to look itself in the eye when it really breaks down all the hypocrisy it has engaged in to build what it has. They treat everybody like crap, but they want to be celebrated by the same people. It's confusion. Devilish confusion. And my people, by way of their definition of what we are supposed to be too stupid to see this. We ain't chosen for nothing. We're supposed to be the people who don't have no value. We're the ones that you enslaved all these many years. We didn't even know how to think or to read or nothing. Yeah, here I am. The logic don't come together. It never has. It's not going to when we look back on it in the history books. And the only thing I'm worried about is people looking at my generation as too sheepish and too compromised and too self-loving in regards to what it is we can get in greed. Too fearful in regards to holding people accountable whose story doesn't even come together, too warped in the propaganda of looking at things and saying, yo, I want this, I want that, those are things, I need that, to look at people who have those things while they're doing evil and saying, yo, I don't need those things that bad to stop you if it's going to keep you doing what you're doing, for which needs to be stopped. That's what's wrong with it. There's always been evil tyrants who want to destroy and build from within what it is they destroy. Those people have always walked the earth. This is not new, man. Conquerors have always walked the earth. But to want to be celebrated as if the conquering is not what it is? So what? So you can do business? But then you don't want to do business bad enough to stop doing what it is you're doing that shouldn't be done, though. You just want everybody to turn a blind eye to what you do and continue to treat you as if you're loved, when what you're doing is promoting nothing but the example of hatred. The example of being a poor leader and not holding myself accountable for the same thing that I would otherwise hold others for. That's the example you show me, but you don't want me to walk in that example. You don't want me to see that. And yet you don't hide it from me either. Your confusion disintegrates any illusion of respect for self, Zionists. You don't respect yourself enough to stand on what you're doing. You don't respect yourself enough to acknowledge that people see you in doing it. Y'all hide from every single person that tells you, yo, why are you not voting for a ceasefire? Yo, why aren't you? Just tell us you want to kill everybody and leave it at that. At least we'll fear and respect you in that regard because you stand on what you say and mean it. You politicians, none of y'all want to speak up on the fact that you're allowing this to happen. You keep selling us this narrative that doesn't come together for nothing. If I tried to sell that narrative in the streets, you would have had it. My court case would be over in a year because they don't come together worth it all. Any law student could put that crap together and win that case. But people are too afraid to tell the truth because they're afraid of what happens when they do. I'm not. I'm gonna die anyway. Cancer may kill me. I'm not going to my grave having feared you. No. You didn't instill proper fear in me by standing on what you said and standing on what you about. So of course I ain't gonna fear you. You didn't make me. Think about it. By way of what it is that you told me to be, by default, I ain't gonna respect you. Did you get that? No, you don't get that, because you walk around in devilish confusion. And the notion that you don't have to be held accountable for what you do, and that you can show that example, and it's not supposed to resonate at all by some strange hypnosis. I'm supposed to just ignore that, but apply it everywhere else. Nah, Israel, that don't work. Nah, US, that don't work. Biden, that does not work. UK, that don't work. What does work is say, yo, we taking this over. We're going to kill their kids because we don't want them kids to grow up to be nothing. Not our enemies, not our friends, nothing. We want to see them dead, and we're going to kill them too. And we're going to make sure all of our celebrities stay quiet. We're going to make sure all these people, your politicians, they in our pocket from sea to shining sea. And you ain't going to do nothing about it because that's what it is. We stand on that. How many is enough? When they're all gone. Stand on that. That's where you at. That's what it is. Why can't you tell us that? If we can't do nothing about it, why can't you tell us? Unless you still need us for something. Unless we really can stop you. See, just because you won't let the common man know that you have a weakness doesn't mean that your behavior isn't showing that you don't have one. These boycotts, they can work, and if it ain't the boycotts, it'll be something else we figure out. You got a hole somewhere. That's why you want to lie. Because somewhere in your politics, you don't trust somebody. Somewhere within what it is that you think want us to think is locked tight, it ain't locked tight, because if otherwise you would behave exactly the way I just described. U.S., you keep using black people to do your dirty work. You don't think we know you're behind them? You keep putting black folks up here to vote no for a ceasefire? You think we ain't noticing? Nobody thinks she's holding any power in this situation. Nobody thinks the black people you throw up there have any power. We notice it's you. We know this. Every time you put a black person up there to compromise themselves, nobody with any brain is looking up and saying black people are controlling this and therefore. Nobody thinks that. When you prop that woman up there to vote no, we see you. Just so you know. Nobody is holding me accountable as a black man in America for the choices of white supremacy. No, they're not. I hate to break it to you. But you go again, insulting the intelligence of the common woman and man. No, we know you're behind her. You might as well be standing there yourself. It doesn't give off what you think it does in any way. At all. It just shows that you're too cowardice to stand up there and do your own dirty work. You're so afraid of being called racist by engaging in racist behavior. Step up. Let it be known. You're world conquerors. You dominate everything. You want to step on your enemies because, well, you can. You want to kill children because, well, who's going to stop you? You want to annihilate Palestinians because it's in your birthright to be that way. And you're happy about it. Say that. Stop trying to act like you're something you're not when you're not proving it in any way through your actions. At all. I guess I'm supposed to be afraid of saying this or something. I don't know. I don't get it. Everybody around me just terrified. I don't get it. What y'all so afraid of? Losing wealth? You don't have any. A 1% is a 1% for a reason. You don't have shit. Everything you have, they're going to take from you if you allow them to continue down this path. They're not wise enough to even cover their own ass. Zionist world is not a good world for anyone, man. White supremacy is not good for anybody. Least of all white people. Least of all Jewish people. It's going to be your kids that everybody hates because of the stuff that these people are doing today. You got to wake up. Overthrow this nonsense. Stop worrying about breaking the laws that they put in place to cover their asses. Get them the hell out of there, man. By hook or crook. Get them out. Because that's the only chance you have at salvaging your reputation as a generation. That's it. All these thoughts and prayers and nice little comments on Instagram about how you feel sorry and humanity is gone. That's because nobody's stepping up and overthrowing shit. You got to do that. You're afraid of the army. Okay, cool. I am too. I don't want to die. But at the end of the day, we can't possibly expect to survive with people like this in control of things. We can't possibly expect that they're not going to press the buttons on every nuclear bomb they have at some point. They're going to. They're too evil to expect that they would not. At this point, that's proven. Killing babies at night. At daytime. It ain't at night. At daytime. Under normal circumstances, when the world is not messed up, of course we follow what we should to keep our world intact. But I'm telling you, they're relying upon you being docile to continue doing this. They're going to rely upon you continuing to be greedy and fearful and selfish, and they'll continue to do this. That's what they're relying upon. Millionaires and billionaires wanting to stay rich, poor people wanting to be able to keep their jobs and wanting to be able to have their voices and all these different things. That's what they're counting on. That's what keeps them in position to do the stuff that they're doing and feel as confidence to not be held accountable. You're going to protest a little bit, but they'll throw some propaganda at you and you'll go right back into your training of being fine because you're fearful of anything otherwise falling apart in your little lives. As if they're holding it together. They're not. Why? Because by way of this, now they've created so many more enemies for your kids. Now people are looking at the U.S. saying, yo, U.S. is this, U.S. is that. Of course they're looking that way at us. Why wouldn't they? We're voting a no for a ceasefire. You think your kids are safe in a world where your country's the only one voting for a no? Think. These people ain't protecting you, fam. They're just prolonging the inevitable. Only hope we have is stopping them by way of whatever possible way we can. That means stepping out of your character in a lot of cases, not staying within it. You can act like everything's fine and civilized, and you're going to see the consequences of what I'm telling you. And those same children you're trying to protect going to have the same problems that Israel is placing upon those that they call Hamas. And any resistance to that, they're going to label you a Hamas too. That's all it is. It's coming. You can sit here and wait on it, or you can fear it enough to do something about it. One thing's for sure. You're going to have to defend yourself. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but you're going to have to defend yourself against this nonsense. Because as I've said many times, this type of hunger, especially when you show them that it worked and they can do it, it's not going to stop there. Now they're starting to bomb Lebanon. Now they're starting to bomb other places. You think they ain't going to bring it to you? And these same people who are compromised, these same politicians that you refuse to throw in prison, who Lord knows they need the chair at this point, you know they need the chair. These same people that you just going to sit up here and say, I'm not going to give them my vote, are the same people that are going to say ceasefire tomorrow. No ceasefire, rather, tomorrow in regards to your situation when they start bombing your country. Why wouldn't they? This is what you showed them is fine. It works. Label the resistance terrorists. Label ourselves victorious. And proceed as it's planned. And all these little kids that you're trying to save, they're going to be the same people struggling to keep their kids safe in a world like that. For long and inevitable. BDF 44, thank y'all for watching. I'm out.